Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Abby. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
How are you both?
Good, thanks.
Doing well, thank you.
Cool. Thank you for joining us. We'll wait a few others to come.
No problem.
How are you both doing?
Doing well. Start of the holiday season, but excited that we are still able to do this meeting virtually when we
Yes,
weren't able to do it in person this year.
that is absolutely true. Hi, Nadine.
Hi.
Thanks for joining.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I love the festive spirit here. This is good.
Yeah, it's nice and cheerful. I have my.
Where's yours?
It's a little small. But,
oh, I see. It's good.
we have a bigger one in the living room, but
there we go.
Oh my God.
You've got the beard.
Wow, you're going all out.
Face covered.
Oh, well,
I love it. Oh, that's a face. Oh my gosh, it's a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten every work video call with this on, this getup, and which really it's just a hat. But every time my team members are like, "Oh my gosh, you're still doing it!" I'm like, what else are we gonna do?
Yeah, you're right.
A little bit of joy. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So it looks like
do we need to access the handouts, or are you going to do a screen share? Okay.
Screen share, yeah.
Super.
Hi, this is Stephen.
Hi, Stephen. Welcome. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to meet you all.
Let's see. Okay. Hey, Danielle. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
Hi.
Okay. Looks like we have. This will wait a minute or two more. Looks like we probably only have Drew left, but we do have a quorum. So we have member Rivas, Dye, and Roth available here today. And we just have a number joining us right now. We have a 788-8631. Would this happen to be Drew?
This is.
Hi, Drew. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So it looks like we have everyone here who has responded. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. At this point, all right. So just to be clear, currently we have 4 members of the Oversight Committee present, as well as our Finance Director, Nadine Haid, as well as our Economic Development Director and Innovation, Danielle O'Leary. We do not have any members of the public attending at this time. So if we want to go ahead and let's start with introductions. Why don't we start with Abby?
Yeah, hi everybody, welcome. I'm excited to have this meeting with everybody. My name is Abby Rivas. I am, of course, local in San Rafael, lived here for about 5 years, and I work in the cannabis industry on the distribution side. So hoping to bring kind of that background to the organization and to the team.
Great, thank you, Abby. And let's go to Jennifer next.
Hi, I'm Jen. I also live in San Rafael. I've lived here for, I don't know, over 16 years. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, and I'm currently running a tech company that services cannabis dispensaries.
Great, thank you. And let's go to Stephen.
Hi, my name is Stephen Roth. I also live in San Rafael. I've been living here since I think 2002, so about 18 years. I have a son at San Rafael High School, and I also have a business, my own business in Terra Linda, San Rafael area. I'm also a high tech, but more software. And one of our software tools does deal a little bit with designing cannabis facilities, hence my interest in this group.
Great. Thank you, Stephen. And next we'll go to Drew.
Hey guys, Drew Bulfer, San Rafael, Sun Valley. I previously was CEO and founder of Valhalla Confections, which is a manufacturing cannabis company in California and Nevada. And I look forward to helping out here.
Great. And let's go next to Nadine.
Hi all, Nadine Atia Haid with the City of San Rafael as Finance Director. I've been here for a little bit over 2 years. Prior to that, my background is in banking and public accounting, which is really fun. So thrilled to be here with you all and look forward to our meeting.
Great, thank you. And then last but not least, we have Danielle O'Leary.
Thanks, Simon. I just want to thank you, Simon, for running the meeting, and thank you all of our committee members for joining us. It's been a long time since you had your interviews, and you are all probably wondering, when are we ever going to meet? So we are excited to bring you all here together today and talk to you about our program. My name's Danielle O'Leary. I'm the Economic Development Director for the program, and Simon and I are overseeing the cannabis program from a licensing, compliance, tax collection. We're a small but mighty team, and we've really enjoyed getting to know our business leaders in cannabis in San Rafael. I'm really proud of the cohort of licensees that we have. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. I'll give you an overview of the program. And I want to send my thanks and appreciation to Nadine, our finance director, who's going to go through really kind of I'd say the tax collection and auditing findings of Measure G. And we're excited to hear what you think. So thank you.
Thanks, Danielle. And I'm Simon Vong. I'm the Economic Development Coordinator at the City of San Rafael. I work for Danielle and the city on all things cannabis related. So very happy to go ahead and see all of you today for our first annual Oversight Committee meeting. I do want to go ahead and have a few things buttoned up before we start. So let's go ahead to it. So this meeting is being held virtually, and viewers are welcome to provide public comment online or by telephone at 669-900-9128. And the meeting ID is 822-7060-0379. If you're watching the meeting on Zoom and wish to provide public comment, please select the participants icon and select raise hand. If you are participating by telephone and wish to provide public comments, please press *9 when the chair opens a public comment period. In this situation, we don't really have a chair. So we'll go ahead and call on participants as needed. When it is your time to speak, you will hear a notification that you've been unmuted and you have 2 minutes to speak. We currently do not have anyone in attendance from the public at this point. So with that said, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda. It is a brief program overview. That'll be by Danielle and myself. And like Danielle had mentioned, we have been starting the cannabis program ever since 2018. And now we are in more than 2 years now into the program cycle. Danielle, do you want to start?
Sure. Thank you, Simon.
Sure.
For the group, I just, maybe Simon, you could see like a show of hands. How interested is everybody for me to go over kind of how it started and the type of licenses we have? Is there?
At least 2.
At least 2? Okay. Yeah. So we began with a study session back in January of 2017 with our council, kind of in anticipation of Proposition 64 and kind of what would San Rafael's place be in the cannabis industry. And through a series of study sessions and public meetings, we came to form a program that was called a pilot program that allowed us to begin to explore licensure without being a full-fledged program. And it gave us that alchemy to experiment and kind of fine-tune what worked for San Rafael. So in that run-up, we really had identified a certain type of license subsets that we were going to focus on. First was access, right? Public access to cannabis from the retail perspective. And non-storefront delivery was the mechanism that we chose to focus on. And currently we have 5 licensees operating, and as of November, we were authorized to add an additional 3 licenses. So we will have a total of 8 in that category. The next category that we decided to explore was infused manufacturing. There are a variety of license types available in manufacturing, from, you know, an extraction facility, either a type 7 or type 6, down to infusion and packaging and processing. So we're really focused in on the infusion piece for our manufacturers here in San Rafael. And we have a total of 10 licenses available. Not all of them are active. In that category in particular, manufacturing, and Drew, I think, can also speak to this, that's probably the hardest space right now. The margins are small. There's a lot of economic pressure on this license type. And so we've seen our licensees start, contract, move, grow, and exit the program, some of them. So our largest license type has probably been the most volatile license type for us. No pun intended on the license type amount, volatile, non-volatile. But and then we have distribution wholesale, which was another license type. And in the beginning of Prop 64, the thinking was that we were going to have all these standalone distribution facilities, but we really didn't see that manifest here in San Rafael. And so we do have 4 standalone distribution licenses. We really only have 1 active in that space, but it's in conjunction with another license type. So recently in November, we went to council in an effort to help our, you know, licensees vertically integrate and allow our delivery licensees and our manufacturing licensees the ability to access a distribution wholesale license should they be in the proper zoning and have the desire to. So that's another area that we are active in. The final area is in testing laboratories. And again, kind of the thinking was in the Bay Area with tech and labs and the biosciences, we might have people stepping into that space. We have 4 lab licenses currently available. Actually, we have 3 and 1 is taken. And they are still going through the process of setting up their facility, so they're not really technically active, but we still have 3 remaining and open. Our program is helped sustained by Measure G tax funding. Part of council's mission is, should we choose to explore this license type, it needed to help fund the staffing and the time that was dedicated to it. And so Measure G has been very helpful in supporting city services and city staff to get this industry started in San Rafael. And what I'd like to do is turn it over to Simon to talk a little bit about our tax collection process, how it works, how often we do it, and then we can come back and answer any questions.
Sure, absolutely. So since the inception of the program, we've had probably almost 2 years of regular collection, tax collection from our licensees. The vast majority of the tax that we collect are from our delivery companies. And at this point, we only have 5, although we just authorized 3 additional for a total of 8. So the 5 delivery licensees have been providing the bulk of our revenue. We typically collect the revenue every quarter. So let's say if you were paying for January through March, the following month, your tax collection would be due. And because of the nature of the industry, obviously the tax collection happens in person because it is still largely a cash business. We work closely with our parking services division as well as our police department to make sure that there is a safe transaction and that our licensees feel that what they're providing to us is obviously going to be used appropriately. So we do regularly interact with our licensees to touch base with them and see what they need. How can we improve the program? I think this change we just had back in November was as a direct result of conversations we've had with our licensees and some of the struggles that they've experienced. I do want to add that we did kind of provide some flexibility with one of our license types, which is distribution. A lot of our manufacturers and some of our delivery companies have felt that that was, in essence, something they needed on top of their regular license to, be more efficient and control more of their product in the supply chain. So we're really glad that we've been able to do that, and that's been, I think, almost a month now that we've had that in place. So it's really responding to the different changes that we've experienced in the marketplace as well as at the state level. So we've been really in it for a little more than 2 years now. We've collected a decent amount of tax collection that Nadine will get into a little bit. Probably not as much as we had anticipated, but just like every other city that has been open to the recreational and adult use piece of the cannabis program, it just hasn't performed as expected so far. But we have been working very hard, and this is the large majority of our program in economic development is this cannabis program that Danielle had started back in 2017, 2018. So far, we wanted to go ahead and make sure that we have all of the information available to you that is presently emailed to you, I think just earlier today. So with that, is there anything else, Danielle, that you would like me to touch base on before we move on to the next item?
I think we're good for now. We can open it up. Thank you, Simon, to Nadine. And then we can, after Nadine's presentation concludes, open it up for questions. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. Nadine, it's yours.
All right, great. Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay.
Yep.
If I'm ever not loud enough, just let me know, because I'm not loud as it is, and then there's something wrong with my microphone. So please don't hesitate to let me know. Just a few housekeeping items. First of all, I get really excited about numbers, and so I may go a little bit into more detail than you could ever want, and I'm going to try really hard not to do that. But if there's ever a time where you want more detail, please just jump in and ask. It's a really small group, so I don't mind receiving questions as we're talking about it. And then the other thing is I'm going to be going over results from July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. You may feel slightly gypped since this got approved in June of 2018, but the responsibility ahead of you for right now is to report on the last fiscal year. So that's what I'll be going over with you. We sent out some information earlier this morning. I'll be sharing my screen with you, so you don't have to pull that up if you don't want to, and we'll just go from there. Let me share my screen. Sorry, where? Sorry about that. I'm just trying to find.
No worries.
Okay, you know what? That's actually really weird. I'm gonna have to move these over. Okay. All right, so we will start with the CAFR. I laugh every time someone says this, but I'm going to say it. Can everybody see this? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So what I sent out to you all was basically a condensed version of our audited financial statements. So it was something that I exported off of our audit and into a document to make it easier for you to see. However, I want you to be able to look at the CAFR, which is online, and right here as well, just to make sure that you're comfortable that I'm showing the exact numbers that are on there. The reason I condensed it for you is because the way that they report it is this is the balance sheet, and it's all of our special revenue funds. So it's all of these different funds that you could probably care less about. And then here is the Measure G Cannabis Fund. It doesn't make it very easy because then you're constantly having to go back and forth and kind of line up, okay, what is that? Is that cash? Is it assets? You know, so that 146,151 of total assets, 70,000 of liabilities and 76,000 of fund balance is what I'm showing you here. 146, 70, and 75. So we'll kind of go over this in this view so that it's easier for you to see. But again, this is our audited financial statements. It's online, so you can get comfortable with, you know, making sure that numbers weren't changed or anything. But essentially for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2020, we ended the year with receivables, so money that we are expecting to put on the books but just haven't received the cash for, of 146,000 and a liability of 70,000. This is really all mainly accounting jargon, but we'll go through it certainly. And 70,000 due to other funds, it's due to the general fund. So at the end of the year, the general fund paid for $70,000 of expenses because, as you can see here, Measure G didn't have any cash available because it's all sitting in accounts receivable, which it received very shortly after the year.
Nadine?
Yes.
I think you might be on the second page, right?
I'm on assets.
Are you on the CAFR detail on the PDF? Are you on the second page or the first page?
Page 1.
Page 1. I think on the screen share, we're on the second page.
Weird. Okay.
Because it's looks like revenues. There we go.
Oh, it's
There we go. Thanks,
Yeah.
Simon.
thanks, Tanya.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, that's really weird. It said that my screen was paused.
Oh, maybe some latency. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I promise this is not my first time using Zoom.
It looks good. Thank you.
Thank you. So $146,000 in expected taxes that we would be receiving. So really what that 146 is something that was paid in July, but it was for the April, May, and June quarter, right? So we knew we had it. We just weren't able to put it on the books as of June 30th as cash because we hadn't received it yet. And so there it is. But to the real good stuff, Simon, I'm going to have to disagree with you because I think you guys have done an amazing job bringing revenues. In our measure ballot, we said that, you know, we expected that the cannabis fund would go up to about $1 million in new funding annually. Well, we're certainly not there yet, but we're moving faster than I had originally estimated based on everything that was happening with the state and others that were in this, you know, in the cannabis industry. So I continue to be impressed by the revenues that the team is bringing in. And I think our city is doing a wonderful job. So just this year alone, we received $409,882 of cannabis revenue. This does not include the sales tax related to the cannabis sale. This is just the gross fee that was passed as part of Measure G. Also included in that number is the annual fee of $250. So, you know, we have, I think Danielle was saying 7 stores, or no, not stores, I can't say that, 7 groups, sorry, Danielle. And so those are the renewals that are included in there. But for the most part, that all came from our gross fees. So hats off to the team and to all of the companies that are doing a tremendous job. And then this $251 is interest income related to the money that has come in. So as the money sits in the bank, we make a little bit of interest off of it and we apply it to this fund. Expenditures are the same, $410. As you may recall, and we can look at it together, the language for Measure G is pretty general. So it allows the city to really focus on some large, you know, new goals and things that we want to do, but then it also helps to enhance our current operations. And so whether it be, especially during COVID right now, being able to maintain public safety as they are. Well, we have $410,000 of additional money that allows us to do that so that we're not laying people off, right? So it really helps. This is a huge contribution. And then this is a fund balance. So fund balance, the way I explain it, just in lay people's terms, is it's money that's sitting in a bank account, kind of like your savings account, and it's money that you've accumulated over time. Well, why would we have that if the language is so general that it would allow us to use money, towards essentially many, many city services? The reason we have that is because when we first started the fund, when Measure G was first passed, we didn't um, we didn't allocate 100% of expenses to the total amount of revenues. And we did that for a reason. We wanted to allow for this fund, for this program, to be able to draw a little bit of money, should it ever need it, to hire a consultant to review, to make sure that people are, contributing, providing us with the correct gross fee amount. If Danielle ever needed additional assistance with something, she has that. The software systems, if we wanted to change, if we needed, an attorney for something. So this is kind of what we have sitting in a savings account for this fund, so that if Danielle sees a reason that is out of the ordinary, we would be able to draw on it and not have to wait for money to come in from future quarters or use money from the general fund. So that is essentially, in a nutshell, the balance sheet and income statement. And then again, I had shown you, this is the financial, like this came actually out of the financial statements, which are online. So page 118, 119, which is where you want to see the balance sheet. And then this is the income statement. And you'll see the same numbers here. And then these are the expenses that we incurred for 7/1/2019 through June 30th, 2020. I'd also like to draw your attention to the adjusted appropriations. Those are adjusted. But earlier, we had said that our appropriations would actually be about 250,000. So the revenue generating team did an exceptional job again. I mean, they almost doubled the budget of 250,000. So tremendous job there. But essentially, all of the money that was brought in for the fiscal year was used on personnel services. That was a huge one. So $385,000 we were able to allocate to personnel services. Some of that included the police officer who is always showing up, every quarter and monthly based on, we have a company that comes in monthly, to videotape. He has a camera and he turns the camera on when the money is received, because a lot of it is in cash, and is able to handle that process and assist the people receiving the money. Danielle or Simon are usually always there, and then our parking enforcement individual who receives the cash is there. Also included in that 385 is some finance time, overhead time, as we do all of the accounting and analysis. Danielle and Simon's time in order for them to be able to administer the program. And so really that's pretty much where we've gotten. We haven't started, we're not at the $1 million yet where we could start using it towards overall operations and enhancements of services, but certainly during this COVID period, it has definitely helped. And then the last thing that we used it for was $25,000 for software licensing services. And this is software directly for the program. And if you all have questions, I'm sure Danielle can go into that program more, but that has been very helpful as well. So that's where our $410,000 is. And you should all have that detail as well. If you want to dig into it or ask further questions, I can scroll up or down, you just let me know. But I will stop and open it up for questions and anything else that you might want to go over.
Cool. Thank you, Nadine. I'll go ahead and open it up for any members of the committee. If you'd like to ask any questions, we'd be happy to go ahead and answer them.
I have a couple questions.
Sure, Stephen.
This is Stephen. First of all, are you taxing delivery companies that are located outside of San Rafael, yet they deliver in San Rafael?
So I can start with that, and Danielle, do you want to add in after? So we currently are working on a mechanism to register outside delivery companies who do deliver within city limits of San Rafael. We've been trying to go ahead and include that into our master fee schedule. We haven't done that in the past year or two since the program's inception. It has been kind of a challenge working with our police department to see and track who is coming in and out of the city. I know there's a lot of cities throughout California who've actually challenged that, that provision that the state allows. Cities that don't allow adult use recreational can still have outside delivery companies deliver within their city limits. San Rafael obviously is different. We do allow, obviously, our cannabis licensees to make deliveries throughout. We are trying to go ahead and make sure that we have a system in place to register outside delivery companies. At this point, we're looking at a pretty nominal fee, though. It wouldn't be really a significant amount to generate any income that would be something to note. So, Danielle, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Yeah, thank you, Simon. This is a really good question, and it's one that cities up and down the state are trying to figure out. So our Measure G tax is a business tax for businesses that are domiciled or located within our city boundaries. However, an outside delivery business coming in would be responsible for remitting a portion of the sales tax, which isn't a part of Measure G discussion, but as Nadine has mentioned, we do receive sales tax. So the thinking is to get them registered so we understand who's coming in here and work with that delivery company on a sales tax